Okay, starting a couple minutes late, so I am just going to jump into it today. Let's see here. Okay, this is our very first real estate agent vibe tribe weekly coaching session. So I am grateful you guys are here. Thanks for showing up. Feel free to pop any questions into the chat if you have a question. And we're going to start out. I'm going to go over. Let me pull it up here. One of the things that I decided to start with is figuring out what it is you want. That's something that I've come across in initial coaching sessions pretty consistently with everyone is getting clear on what it is that you want. Sometimes that's the biggest hurdle. Everyone is really good at understanding what we don't want, but knowing what it is that we actually do want is sometimes a lot trickier than we think. And this is I'm actually going to share this with you. Hang on while I pull this up. This is something that I developed years ago, and it's actually based on training that I received early on in my career. I was fortunate that the brokerage that I was with focused heavily on mindset and goal setting and understanding where, like, what's important to you and getting clear on your goals and your vision so that you can accomplish what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So let me make this bigger. That might be too big, but then you don't have to look at my whole screen. So, um, I'm going to go through this with you. And this is, if you haven't done this yet, I will drop a link in the chat where you can find this life plan and goals um, download. In fact, I'll show you here in a minute. When we're done going over this, I'm just going to show you. Okay. So, this is something that you can work on immediately right away. And if you haven't done something like this before, what I would suggest is that you fill it out right away this week sometime, and then in another week, fill it out again. And in another week, fill it out again. And what you're looking for to get that feeling that this is really what you want, if you haven't really settled in before on what it is that you want, is for repetitive answers showing up and instinctually knowing and not having to think about what it is that you want. So when you practice this once a week, multiple weeks in a row, when you print this out and you fill it out, once the answers easily flow to you and they're the same and there's consistency, that's how you know that you're getting clear on what you really want in your life. Because again, it's easy to know what we don't want. And it's sometimes easy to talk about the things that are causing us pain in our life, but it's really hard to get to a place of knowing what it is that's going to make you feel aligned. I like to use the word aligned. Alignment for me is joy, flow, not necessarily that things are easy, but that there's an ease to making things happen. You're not hitting resistance as much. If you're feeling a lot of resistance in your life, if you're feeling a lot of dissatisfaction, a lot of pain, a lot of like you're having to force things to come together, you're out of alignment. And so everything that I teach is with the goal of getting you to a place of alignment where you can stay in alignment. And as we progress through coaching, the tool sets that I teach are to quickly identify when you're out of alignment in your business, in your personal life, in your health, in your spirituality, in your pleasure, in your joy, and how you experience life, and how to quickly pivot back to alignment when you get out of alignment. Okay. So, the first thing that you're going to do, obviously, I need to update this. This was from last year. So I'll update this for the download. But we need to look at these critical questions that we have to ask ourselves to see where we're out of alignment. So this is usually the easy part. It's pretty easy for people to be like, I'm tired of this. I'm no longer willing to accept this. So we're going to go through each of these categories and we're going to write down what we're no longer willing to accept in our life regarding our family. And legacy can mean like it can relate to your kids, it can relate to finances, but in regards to your family, and like what you want to accomplish for your family, big picture, your kids, your grandkids, what you want to leave, what values you want to instill in your children. So if you feel like your kids are struggling with disrespect, or there's a lack of structure, or there's a lot of contention within your home, if there's pain points in this way, you're going to write down, like, I'm no longer willing to accept that my family is disrespectful to each other, that chores aren't completed, that commitments that we've set or expectations that we've set for our children or for each other aren't being met. I'm no longer willing to accept living in a messy, dysfunctional home with my family anymore. Whatever that might be for you, you're just going to list everything that is no longer working for you or hasn't been working for a long time that you would like to address and you would like to align, okay, with your health. Um, this can be a myriad of different things. This can be, you know, it can be your mental health, it can be your physical health, it can be your wellness. But where are you out of alignment in your health, and what are you really no longer willing to accept? You wake up feeling like crap every single day, and like you're sore and you're tired and you're lethargic and you don't have energy, and it's time to figure it out. Is it that you are just super out of shape and you're weak and you don't feel like you have strength? I had a pretty massive health transformation several years ago, and the thing that I focused on was not my weight or my appearance in the mirror, it was my strength. I felt really, really weak, and I really wanted to feel strong. And when I focused on something that was a positive, where there was nothing negative attached to what I was working on, um, and for women, you might relate, men, you might relate to this as well, but oftentimes when we think health, we think in terms of weight. And there's a lot of shame attached to weight. So I would encourage you that if you can stay away from your health being attached to your weight and a physical image of yourself in the mirror, and you can really dig deep and think about what's not working for you in regards to how you feel and how you would like to feel. And we'll get to how you'd like to feel in a minute. But don't think in terms of like physical appearance. Think in terms of like how you feel health wise, because you're going to see a lot more traction and a lot more momentum when you focus on wellness versus comparison. Okay. And if that doesn't click yet, again, my coaching can help you make that click. We'll work on that. Travel, recreation, and dreams. For me, I am a big travel and vacation person. I work really hard, probably just like you. And recreating and traveling the way that I want to is how I rejuvenate and revive myself. I'm an ocean person. I love the beach and the ocean. I grew up in Seattle on the coast and spent time at lakes and near the Puget Sound my whole childhood. And for me, when I get to the ocean and I stick my feet in that salty water, I feel like a connection to myself that I don't know how to explain. You can only know what I'm talking about if you're an ocean person too, but my feet hit that sand and hit that salty water, and I feel like this whole version of myself. And it is extremely important to me that at least once or twice a year, I go reconnect to myself in that way, in that meaningful way. And so travel is a priority for me, recreation and your dreams and how you like to spend quality time with the people you love or quality time reconnecting with yourself is extremely important. Too many people discount this, by the way. Too many people do not prioritize this in their life. And I am giving you permission right now to make this a priority. It should be a priority in your life. Wealth. I put wealth because, again, there's a lot of shame attached to money. We live in a society that actually has algorithms to encourage debt and spending and purchasing things that we don't need. There are forces at work to make sure that you do that. Okay. So when we talk about money, I like to think in terms of wealth, and I like to focus on areas where we can grow and where there's not shame attached to it so that we can create momentum and alignment in this area of our life and have a long-term vision and plan that we have confidence in so that we remove fear and we remove shame when it comes to what we do with income when we receive it. So, career, what are you no longer willing to accept in regards to your career? Are you stagnant? Are you are you complaining every day about the people that you're working with? Sometimes we we are stuck somewhere and we need to make a shift. And again, we've been conditioned to blame people around us for why things aren't working or they're wrong. And let me just clarify for you that when you feel yourself stuck in a place of complaining, that doesn't mean that the environment you're in is wrong. It means that it's wrong for you. It's working for other people there. It's not working for you. And it's easier to blame other people than to take accountability and say, hey, I have to do the really scary thing and start looking for a new career opportunity, because this is how the universe works and this is what happens. If you are hitting resistance, and we'll use the career specifically as an example, and you turn to complaining and you avoid what that resistance is trying to teach you, um, eventually what ends up happening is people end up getting fired or laid off, or if you're meant to make a change and your growth is dependent upon a change being made and you resist it, resist it, resist it, you're in a pretty miserable spot, and eventually the universe will take care of it for you. And then we're bitter and angry because we got fired from a job that we hated. Okay. That's not what God wants for you or what is meant for you, whether you believe in a higher power or not. There's forces in the universe at work that are working for your good. And once you can understand that and that can click inside of you, that forces are always working for your good, you'll start to see massive momentum in your life. Nobody is working against you except for you. And I want you to just hear me on that. When you feel like the universe is against you, or things aren't working out for you, or you're blaming other people for your life not moving in the direction you want it to move in, nothing is working against you. You are working against yourself. So I just want you to pause. And if that makes you really uncomfortable, I want you to let that sink in, that this is an awakening and this is a moment for you to understand what hasn't been working. And the good news in all of this is that if this is sinking in right now and you're feeling like, oh crap, like, no, I don't like this. It's not me. It's not me. It's everything around me. It is you. But the good news is that now that you know that, we're going to do something about it and you can change it. And again, I'm here. I'm going to teach you all of this. I'm going to help you get everything that you want in your life. And so I don't want you to feel resistance or fear right now. I want you to feel peace and calm around knowing that you've landed in the right spot to get the support that you need to be able to grow in the direction that you want to grow. Okay. So keep filling this out, like everything in your career that isn't working for you, and then spiritually. And sometimes this can be a tough one for people because they relate spirituality with religion. And I am not talking about religion at all. If you want to incorporate your religion into the spiritual section, that's absolutely fine. What I'm talking about, when I say spiritual on here, is that every human body has a spirit or a soul inside of it, inside of us, that is vibrating, and it has a frequency to it, and it's this energy inside of us that is extremely, extremely powerful. And I'll leave it there for today. But you have a spiritual being inside of you made up of energy that is either in alignment or out of alignment. And so if you're unsure of what to put here, I just want you to let your pen flow and see what comes out. Some of us are going to be really clear and some of us are not. If you're not sure, just let your pen flow and try not to overthink it and just see what comes out, okay? So after we go through these categories of what's not working, what is no longer acceptable for us in our life, then we're going to come down and we're going to write, what does it look like when my life is on track in these areas? So now you're going to say, okay, I'm clear on what's not working. Well, what would it look like if like it was working? What does that look like? What does that feel like? And you're going to write that all down here. Okay. So you're going to go through this section. And if you need more paper or a journal, whip out more paper or a journal and write as much as you want to write, okay? And then in this next section, we're going to go through each of these and we're going to expand on it. And this is why I explain it. You can keep it pretty simple right here. And then when we come down here, we're going to write down some goals in regards to what it looks like to be aligned in this area. So what are some goals with our family, our legacy, and what are some ideas? You don't have to be 100% clear on the how, but I want you to write down some ideas of how you could align more. And then I want you to write down why this is important to you. So you're going to do that for your family, for your health. You're going to do that for your travel, your recreation, your dreams, your wealth, and your career. Okay. And your spirituality. And then I want you to come down here and I want you to think about for the next period of time, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, what's one main goal that you're going to focus on every single day? One main big picture goal that if you accomplished it, um, it could be like a daily goal that you're going to focus on every day for the next stretch of time. That if you accomplished that goal, you know that you're going to see results in multiple areas of your life. Like, what's the one big impact goal that you can focus on right now that's going to have the biggest bang for your buck, if that makes sense? And then you're going to write down how and you're going to write down why. Like for me, at different times of my life, the goal that I've written down has been like making sure that I move my body and exercise or lift weights or something every single day because it felt like if I would do that, then everything else became more manageable. I could do it all. Or making sure that I read for 15 minutes a day a book that was going to um, help me move the needle forward, or listen to something in the morning that's going to help me get my mindset right, or journal every morning all the things that I was grateful for so that I could stay in a place of gratitude. So it doesn't have to be a major big goal. It can be something that you go back to repeatedly that you feel like is going to absolutely help you make you move the needle forward. One thing that I focus on in my one-on-one coaching is quantum goal setting, which I know like that's a big word, but what quantum means, it's in science, it's when there's a series of steps that take place in like the change of an atom or something scientific. There's like a series of events that have to occur to get from point A to point Z, right? And in when you're talking about a quantum goal or a quantum leap or a quantum jump in science, you're saying what you're explaining is that you're starting at point A, and instead of going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you're going A to G and you're skipping B through F. And there's no explanation for it. Like science can't explain it. And that's why on top of science, there's also quantum science and quantum physics because it's like the quantum are things that can't be explained, but they exist. And so as we're working through this, I want you to let go of the idea that you're going to control how you get to these things or remove all the thinking that as you're filling this out, you're thinking, but that's too hard or that's not me. I can't do that. I want you to remove all of that thinking and all of the messaging that's been programmed into you to stop you from thinking that things are possible for you when they actually are. We don't want to stop ourselves from thinking that, but you're going to feel these thoughts enter your mind that have been programmed into you. And I want you, while you're filling this out, to think, nope, I'm living in the quantum right now, even though I don't know what that means. All I know is that it means that impossible things are possible. And so, as we fill this all out, I want you to remember that impossible things are possible, and that if you are able to form a desire within you, the quantum rule or like this unexplainable force that exists, the law of the unexplainable force is that if you can think of it and you have a desire for it, then it's possible for you. Even though that may seem absurd or surreal, it is possible for you. And so as you're writing things down, I don't want you to consider whether or not you're capable of achieving them. I just want you to write it down. Okay. And then here's additional questions you can ask yourself, and you could go through all of these questions, and then that's it. Okay. So you're going to fill this out, and then I want you to give it a day or two or a week or whatever and fill it out again and keep filling it out until all of this feels like flow. Okay. Awesome. So let me stop sharing that really quick, and then I've got to pull up another page for you. Um, let's see. Let's see if I remember this correctly. Give me 1 second because I want to show you where you can download um, this. No, that's not it. It's mm, Sorry, guys. Let me look it up. I keep my links in my phone, and sometimes I don't know why. I created like a little URL for this one so that I wouldn't, so I could send people directly to it, and then I forget it all the time. So it's expertagent.vip. So I'm going to throw that in the chat over here, but it's expertagent.vip is where you want to go. Let me pull up my little chat. So expertagent.vip. And then when you're at this site, I want you to use the discount code VIP. So make sure that you enter in a discount code that says VIP because that's going to give you anything you want from my digital product site for free. So let me share this with you and I'm going to show you what this looks like and then we'll wrap up. Um, okay, so this is all of the digital products that I have put together. And give me about an hour and I will make sure that this is reloaded. It's in here, but I think I took it down so that I could update it to 2026 and I haven't done that yet. So I'll get this loaded in here and it will be the life planning goals and it will be I'm actually just going to put it in here for free, but anything else that I have in here like this close the gap between burnout and thriving that's $47. If you use the code VIP, you can download this for free. I've got like the team operations, Canva template, some other stuff in here that you're welcome to download. The only one that you cannot download for free, and it's because I only have a license to sell it, I didn't create it, is this digital marketing product right here that's $4.97. You have to pay for that one if you want to learn about digital marketing and apply it to your real estate business or whatever business. Anyway, okay, that's it for today. Let me get back out of here. Sometimes I'm not super like efficient at running Zoom. There we go. Okay, that's it for today. I want you to start with this. Meet me back here next week, and we're going to keep working on moving the needle forward in your life, in your business, in your health, and your wealth, and your spirituality, your vacations, your dreams, all of it. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great day.